Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Welcome to this Friday morning monk chat live stream with Bhante Simita Thero and myself, Ayasobana, here at the Empty Cloud Monastery in California. We're just waiting for the listeners to come in and put up their questions. In the meantime, we could take one question from the room.
What are a couple of signs for an arahant?
Couple of?
A few signs that someone is an arahant.
Okay.
Repeating the question, what are some of the signs to recognize an arahant?
So, one thing for sure, you should not be scared. Right? You cannot fear or something, jerk or something. And not for life, or you can get angry. You don't have any defilements. You feel like very pure. So someone has to also reflect every time if there is anything, any mistake, completely pure. We can talk more about that if you want to go detail, like for example, the 10 fetters, Sakkaya Ditti Vichikicha Silabbata Paramasa, self-identity, and then doubts, no doubts at all. Everything is so clear about the Dhamma. And then Silabbata Paramasa, like the rites and rituals, all kinds of unnecessary rites and rituals, thinking that one can attain Nibbana. This is actually for the Sotapanna, and then Kamaraga Patika, no sensual lust or no anger at all. And so when you are in Sakadagami, once returner, you will substantially dilute those two things. And when you are Anagami, you will completely eliminate them also. And when you become Arahant, you will have no Ruparaga, Aruparaga, Mana, Uddhacha, and Avijja. Ruparaga is like the lust for the Rupa, the form, and Aruparaga, and sometimes even for the formless realms. So form realm or formless realms. And then Mana, all kinds of conceit. Imagine you have a slight little bit of conceit. You should be like a doormat. You know doormat. Everyone step on it. You become so humble and simple and no mana at all. And then uddhacha, the restlessness. See how someone can become restless given with any simple condition. So they don't become restless. So restlessness actually is just next to avijja here. Avijja is the all kinds of ignorance that we have. Ignorance about the Four Noble Truths, basically, but that can also be much more deeper than that. Apart from that, you can also think Sabba Papa Sakarana, nothing wrong, no mistake, and Kusala Sopasampada, all kinds of wholesome things, and Sachitta Paryodapanang, beautifully purified mind, heart. If you have, there is a possibility. And so the thing is, sometimes, for example, if you practice metta bhavana, really very serious metta bhavana practitioner, will feel like Arhat. Will feel like Arhat because the all the unwholesome things will go down, sink down, and it will not come to surface for a long time, sometime. So that is why we continuously have to reflect. If there is any any place where we give opportunity to for them to trigger. If they don't trigger on any given condition, um, they know it. And of course, the arhanta person knows he is there. For example, you go from here to New York City. Okay, so you have a map, navigation. You know how to go. You know the road signs, right? Through the Hudson River tunnel, and you know the New York City buildings. When you go there, you know you are there. Just like that, you know all the signs, the roadmap, and you work on it, and they know they are there. The Arhanta person also knows that. Okay.
I see we have greetings from Ryan, Anthony, Manal, and here's a question from Kaz, our friend, in two parts, a long question. Recently, I disagreed with a fellow lay practitioner about a point of Dhamma that she was presenting to others. It was about whether or not awareness itself can be regarded as a true self. When I talked with her about it, I noticed in my own heart a strong desire to be right and to correct her, which felt unwholesome. Do you have any advice for dealing with such situations? I could say that reading the chapter about the eights, the Atthakavagga, in the Sutta Nipata, there's many very deep and profound, inspiring teachings about the danger of quarreling about views, and the Buddha's strong advice that he, despite his perfect knowledge and perfect insight, he never argues in such a way that's forming a quarrel. Second of all, the seeing that dislike or that conceit or whatever it is, that desire that you felt in yourself that was seemed unwholesome. It's very good to have such strong mindfulness that you can recognize in your own heart if something is unwholesome for you. So that awareness is good to cultivate. Then, when it comes to getting out of that, sometimes to avoid a quarrel, a person will simply step back and excuse themselves from the conversation in order to avoid a quarrel. Other times, a person would learn how to speak in a general way, which is not pointing a finger at any individual. So it's not saying you are unskillful, you are wrong, or something like that, but instead speaking in generalities. Third of all, when speaking about the what's represented in the suttas, in the particular question that you have there, there is the particular passage in the sutta about the mind being inherently pure unless it's sullied by adventitious defilements. That's the particular line in the suttas that some Dhamma teachers take to associate the pure chitta with the self. And uh, one can acknowledge that something is uh, a point of controversy and try to bring the conversation back to what's represented in the suttas, not using the suttas as an authority hammer that you could take a big book and hit the person over the head with the book and say, it says here in the book and therefore it must be true, but instead to invite the investigation and reflection to look at the actual teachings that are given in the suttas and to explore the significance of that teaching within the context. Those are my ideas about this question.
Yes, I think a few things to consider. Um, First of all, we have to avoid ourselves from um, evils, right? Papa nivareti. So we have to avoid all the papa or the evil or demerit or unwholesome situations. And then the other duty of us is kalyane niveseti. If we see someone is doing something wrong, we should try to avoid them, to rescue them from that. That's also a wonderful practice of a kalyana mitra satpurusha. And then again, if that leads to kind of a escalation to such a level that it won't work, I think it is better to avoid unnecessary arguments, because that can only um, you know uh, complicate the situation. Sometimes pausing can be helpful. Maybe it's not the right time to discuss that particular situation. Probably later on, when that person is calm, then you can probably discuss about that. You need to probably find a different way, a different approach, so that that person also will be able to digest what you say. Sometimes this is the thing. Maybe even if it is truth, you know that that person is doing not the right way, so you want to fix it. It won't work like that. If then the Buddha would have done it like with the Devadatta, right? He did, he even didn't do it because it's not the right time. Sometimes it doesn't work like that. So you have to be patient. You have to pause, take a step back maybe. We have to maybe wait for the right time. For some people, it's not their right time, so they take some time. I know there are some people who come to the monastery, they keep coming, they practice dana, sila, but then still they have some ideologies within them. I feel like rather than arguing or trying to fix them, maybe we practice metta. We give them some time to think. And I've seen many people over time, they have come to the right track. I can feel, for example, some people here, they were very new to Buddhism, and some of them know not even Buddhist, but they keep coming to the monastery, and over time I have personally noticed progress in many people. So time can be a beautiful healing way for many people.
Recently, I came across the Lakkhana Sutta with the 32 marks of a great man. Is the description of the marks to be understood as metaphorical? That's a very strange sutta. Some of the marks are things that would seem almost unbelievable if you saw a person who had those characteristics. And So maybe Bhante, if you have an understanding of the significance of those different marks.
I think rather than going to each and every single marks, for example, in the past when it comes to the evolution of Buddha statue, the Buddha painting, it took a long time to for the artist to bring Buddha statue or Buddha painting to reality. They didn't know how to do it. They were very worried how if they make any mistake or they feel guilty. So there was only a pair of slippers, or there was a Dhamma wheel, or something as the Buddha. So they were paying homage to the Buddha and to those symbols, some of the symbols. And later on, it was influenced by the Greek art, and then we find some coins where the statue of the Buddha, the Buddha Rupa or the form of the Buddha is painted, and eventually it has come to fruition. And you see why the Buddha statues, for example, in mainland China, you have Sichuan, you have the giant Buddha statue. It's a huge one. And in Afghanistan, there was Burmese Buddha statue, very huge. Why they were so big? Because the artist wanted to portray all those 32 characteristics. They wanted to highlight them, so they can do it with a small statue. So they make it so big to make it highlight, glorify. Oh, the idea actually is um, some people are there in the world. They are exceptional and extraordinary. We can see some of the little kids with remarkable memory capacities and remarkable mathematicians, remarkable engineering, scientific background, how they predict those things in such small age. It's truly, truly astonishing. So the Buddha, as a bodhisattva who has done so much, who was just about to blossom as the Buddha, so he should have been someone extraordinary too. We seen him through the suttas, through the literature, Buddhist literature, that he was identified by those wise people who can read their body signs, bodily features, that this person is not some ordinary person. He is definitely an extraordinary person. In the case of the naming ceremony, the eight wise men came to Siddhartha's naming ceremony, and um, in front of the king Suddhodana, they said if he so actually they raised two fingers. Seven of them raised two fingers. One raised only one finger, and those people who raise two fingers, they wanted to say if he would stay in the lay life, he will definitely become a very powerful universal monarch. And in case there is a possibility, given the bodily features that he has, this person also can become a very spiritually oriented person. And if he selects that path, he will become a Buddha. So this also means that they knew about the Buddha. That time they have heard about the Buddha, so they think already they assumed the two options can be there. But the young Kondanya, youngest of those wise men, he said, this one will definitely become a Buddha. So he saw some of those signs that were very, very exceptional. So I think most of the countries, they can figure out when they see some people, right? This person is different. For example, Asian culture, you see bodily features, and they can feel this person is different. There are different bodily features. Even we know when we see some maybe Hollywood actor or something. They look so different from the rest of the people. They can be easily recognized among thousands of people. They um, tall and handsome, good looking, right? And pretty, yeah, very, very amazing, interesting, attractive features in them. They are so even among thousands of people, they stand tall. So I think the Buddha's case would be much more stronger in that case. So overall, his bodily features could be exceptional. Rather than going to these individual details, descriptions of those marks, I would take it as a whole overall
Yeah.
person.
Just to clarify, there are many metaphorical stories in the suttas, which are given as a kind of a didactic stories. The story has the purpose to teach a lesson, and right in the sutta, they say very clearly, the deer stands for the Buddha, and the hunter stands for Mara, and the flowers stand for sensual desire. They give the exact code how to interpret those stories to take the lesson. In this case, I would take it more as being a mythological rather than metaphorical. And the overall meaning is we're not in the realm of the everyday, day to day common sense reality. We've gone into a different realm altogether with a being who is beyond the ordinary human experience. And so that's how I would take that. How can an advanced practitioner be sure about a particular spiritual attainment and that they are not overestimating themselves?
I think we touched upon a little bit about that. Like when you are there, you know it. You know you are there. If you follow the road signs, you can see you are there. And then you also have to continuously reflect whether there is something missing, some problem, some mistake in you. So it's also important to know uh, the 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 situation, what is it like to be sotapanna, what is it like to be in the first jhana. When you know these things and then you practice, then you will recognize you are there. It's not really a big deal. Simply like you are driving to some destination, then you know you are there, because you go through all the homework before. You see the road signs, you know that you are taking the right path, right way. You follow the navigation. So similarly, when we have the navigation led by Sammaditthi, you follow the Noble Eightfold Path, and then you should be able to actually um, uh, attain whatever spiritual attainment that you tend to. Yeah.
Here's another question, which is directed specifically for you, Bhante. Um, Manal writes, you mentioned last week's monk chat that one's negative karma could be reduced by way of meditating more. Would you provide more detail of how this works and if you have a sutta reference for that?
Yeah, the word in Pali called atapi. Atapi also means atapi has a tendency to burn the defilements. The word tapana means to burn. Okay, so tapa is actually burning. So when you meditate, you purify, you cleanse your mind, you definitely burn out a lot of defilements. And also when you do that, your present condition becomes very pure, very powerful, and that way you will only attract all the wholesome past karma as well. So you can see the law of attraction there. You will be able to attract all the beautiful, powerful, related past karmic results, and that is related to and that is connected to your present condition. So let's say like you always practice metta, then you have the wholesome energy all the time. You have positive energy, positive attitudes. That really makes you a very, very happy, pleasant, peaceful person. And then you will also be able to get the benefit of your past beautiful, wholesome karma, looped, connected, merged with the present condition. Similarly, if you have the negative attitude, always complaining, always finding fault with other people, what happens to you? You always have negative. You always in the dark. You are always in the dark. So what happens? You are also attracting all the unwholesome, negative, past karmic energy to the present condition. Whatever you do goes wrong. That's why I always think we have to start with ourselves. Simple corrections, simple fixations, maybe something like making your bed every single day, making your bed, keeping your bathroom clean, your closet well organized, doing simple things like that, and also giving sunlight to your room. Make sure it is clean and neat and organized. You feel positive. You feel like appreciating yourself doing it. You also need to do that actually. You have to appreciate yourself. So these simple practices, can bring lot of good results to you eventually. And similarly, when you keep practicing, I would say be sincere in your meditation, be serious in your meditation. When you go to meditation hall, clean yourself physically, and go there with a good intention, with lot of saddha, and then with lot of saddha and confidence in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, you keep practicing, and then you will definitely be able to accomplish your spiritual goals. Not only that, but also to uh, get rid of many negative karmic reactions. This is how Angulimala was able to attain arahanthood. Being such a monstrous person, a serial killer, he was able to attain arahanthood with the proper guidance of the Buddha. He was able to negate his past karmic reactions to hinder his spiritual path. He was able to generate more positive energy from his previous good karma, and that way he was able to attain arahanthood, enlightenment. There were many people like that, not only Angulimala, Patachara, Kisa Gotami, and many other people have been shown the right path by the Buddha by kind of bypassing their negative karmic reactions. So the Buddha was able to do that, guide those people. We should also, as the disciples of the Buddha, should try our level best to generate more wholesome karma, dana, sila, bhavana. All these things can be really, really helpful, and also contemplate on your own good and bad karma. Accept if you do some good, bad karma. Accept your mistake. Be humble, and that way you can actually fix your problem areas, and listen to some of those wise people, and associate good kalyana with the friends, listen to Dhamma, and contemplate on your own practice. You should be able to actually get rid of many of those negative karmic reactions.
This is from Ryan in two parts. Venerables, since energy cannot be created or destroyed, could this energy be interpreted as the mind, but imparted with volitional karma until it becomes luminous and vast, and again returning to its original source, i.e., the universe or Nibbana? Thank you. This question is mixing some modern scientific ideas with the ancient Dhamma, and I think that can create confusion. The material energy in the teaching of the Buddha is possibly included in two of the aspects of the material elements. So the fire element is described as both temperature burning and also as something that leads to the destruction, burning up or decomposition, whether like in digestion, compost, or fire, that which is consuming. And then the air element in the ancient system is associated with movement, which also is another part of energy. But the contemplation of these elements is particularly suggested as a way to see that the material things are not me, not mine, not myself, so that these elements within our own personal body are no different than the similar elements everywhere in the world. And the element as an element doesn't have any personality, does not have a self. And this contemplation is given as something that's useful because it's easier when you see the heat element inside your body. You don't get so involved with proliferating of your conceit and different self-centered ideas and wishes about it. It's just heat is just heat, air is just air. So it's somewhat impersonal already, and so it helps the mind to move towards being able to see non-self. Then there is a kind of another aspect of energy, which is a spiritual factor, and that is the factor of virya, or effort, which is sometimes described as energy. And the virya can be connected with intention, which is another aspect of mentality. So the intention, or the chaitana, is either skillful or not skillful. The chaitana creates the karma. The chaitana is the karma. So if you have an unskillful intention and you add energy, that results in actions which would perpetuate cycle of samsara. But if you are able to eliminate those unskillful intentions, first develop skillful intentions that could lead to a wholesome rebirth, and then develop the type of intention that leads to the end of intentions, the type of intention that leads to the end of karma, then that's the way to purify the mind. The luminous mind, which is a meditative state, is definitely a sankhara. It's something that exists because of conditions, because of the practice of meditation, because of your good intentions, because of the purification of the defilements of the mind. And so the luminous mind is a very powerful, wonderful, and important kind of a pure mental state, which is support for our progress on the path, but it's not the same thing as nibbana. It can be another. It's a sankhara. It's caused by certain conditions. All your practice is the cause, and it is a the root for subsequent results. And it can be that, together with all the other factors, that it is a support for awakening, but not the same thing as nibbana. My question: when we see family members struggling, a lot of hardships, example with her marriage, separated from kids, continued to get involved in relationships that are not ideal, how can I help her cultivate wisdom to generate a more positive energy? She's not actively practicing Buddhism, even though she was born Buddhist. I have been sending her metta, but what else can I do to help her cultivate good karma?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for trying to help your sister who is undergoing a very difficult situation. And that is why when you have those difficult situations, and sometimes with a lot of negativity, all the past negative karma also can be connected. So whatever you do, everything goes wrong. So it's important carefully deal with this fragile situation. Maybe also giving advice should be careful, because she is in a difficult situation. You have to be really mindful and patient while doing this, and I hope you should be able to probably listen to her, or stay with her, or maybe like walk with her, talk with her. Sometimes let her do something, but try to accompany her probably. That way you can give some kind of a support, moral support, to come out of this situation. And also maybe you can practice some dana, sila, bhavana, some activities, going to temples if there is a possibility, and take her with you. And if you do practice some dana, do it with her also, maybe helping other people who are in need of your help. Do it with her. That way she will have some good positive energy, and the blessing of that can also be really helpful. I hope yeah, you have to be patient and mindful, and also compassionate in dealing with her. And we would like to invoke blessings upon her, sending lots of metta for her to come out of this difficult situation. Yeah, do you have to say something?
Uh, your own presence, friendship, manifesting the good qualities that you developed can be a very wonderful help. Even you're not trying to force anything, but you're setting an example, which is very beneficial. Listening can be a very powerful help. Uh, Recognizing and seeing clearly the suffering of that situation, without being necessarily in a hurry to rush and try to fix it, but simply within yourself to acknowledge that you can see how painful, how difficult the situation is, and to let your sister or to let your friend know that you see her, that you understand. Those things by themselves are helpful. Then, as a result of the trusting and loving relationship you have, if she becomes ready to hear your advice, then that's the time when your wise suggestions can be given. And so being able to hear and receive advice comes about because of having trust and confidence in a person and feeling very safe with them. Where can I read and learn more about the luminous mind and the early suttas? The sutta is called Pabhasara Sutta. It's in the Anguttara Nikaya. It's in the Book of Ones, number 50 to 53. It says, as I quoted before, the mind is luminous, but it's defiled by adventitious defilements.
Avasaramidam bhikkave chittam tancha pukkopana agantukehi upakkilesehi upakkilitam. That sutta mentions about that. How the incoming, the mind in its kind of original form is much more luminous, but then it is clouded by the incoming visiting defilement. So we all have these sankharas, keep accumulating sankhara, and then that luminous nature will be gone, and it's like collecting dust and layers of layers after layers, so many dust. So we have to clear it up later on.
One very helpful part of this sutta is the idea that to gain the goal, it's not where we're trying to acquire something, we're not trying to get something, but instead our progress towards the goal is defined by what we can give up and what we can let go of. So the whole process of the spiritual path is a process of letting go of those defilements one by one, and then it seems that the human being, because of our longing for true happiness, which is inherent to every being, that makes the mind turn towards awakening and turn towards purity, as we discover that purity is where true happiness lies. There are many modern discussions and teachings by great contemporary teachers considering this particular teaching. And if you search, you can find them. Bhante Sujato, Bhikkhu Bodhi, many of the great contemporary teachers have discussed that particular sutta. That's all the questions that we have. Oh, here comes one more. Dear Venerables, are the five aggregates, the six senses, and anatta contemplation the most direct way to liberate the mind? Or are there more direct ways to liberate the mind, please?
Yeah, like in the when we chant the morning suttas, I really like the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta that opened up the light window for Venerable Kondanya to attain the first state of sainthood, Sotapanna, stream entry. And after a few days of continuous explanation and guidance by the Buddha, helped the other um, disciples also, Vappa, Bhaddiya, Mahanama, and Asaji. They were also able to attain Sotapanna. And then the Buddha gave another really wonderful sutta. He was waiting for that when the right time was right, and he taught Anatta Lakkhana Sutta, where he explained about the five aggregates, and that really opened up for the Nibbana to all of them. So that really is a very powerful sutta. And then for the three Jatila brothers and 1,000 of their disciples were able to attain the Nibbana by listening to Aditya Pariyaya Sutta. These are really helpful suttas Um, and having said that, person to person, case by case, it could differ depending on their personal respective maturity of the spiritual path. For some, um, they don't even need so much. For example, Upatissa, later Sariputta, he just listened to two lines of one stanza, right? Ye dhamma hetu pabhava, te sang hetu tathagato aha, ye sanchayo nirodho, evang vadi mahasamano. Just by listening to the first two lines, he attained Sotapanna. So it doesn't need the whole Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta for that. That's the spiritual maturity of that person. And then Kolita, his friend, later Moggallana, Patissa went to him and recited the whole stanza, and he was able to attain the Sotapanna too. See how different people have different capacities. Um, we can say like this is the right way, and there could be many different ways to open up, and but the destination should be the same.
You could say that the five aggregates and the six senses are the field of contemplation, and then what you are finding when you do that contemplation is the Four Noble Truths and the three marks of impermanence, dukkha, and non-self. So the one idea, in addition to those, what you mentioned, is the fundamental concept of the Four Noble Truths.
Yeah, I remember the story of Pukkusati. Pukkusati came from a very far distance to see the Buddha, and Buddha went to the middle of the road to meet him because he knew that if he didn't go earlier, Pukkusati would not be able to meet the Buddha. So his exceptional spiritual leadership is also um, mm, like highlighted here. And out of great compassion for Pukkusati, the Buddha went to see him on the way, and then by the roadside um, rest house, he was meeting and talking to him and explaining the Dhamma to him. And that time the Buddha also explained to him the Dhamma. Then there's another one. What's his name? Um, he also asked the Buddha, um, can you please tell me the shortcut to Nibbana? A lot of people like that shortcut to Nibbana, drive through Nibbana. So he was asking, and that time the Buddha said, okay, take care of your five senses. Over here you talk about six senses. Yeah, take care of them, and that will be the shortcut to Nibbana. Because Buddha said to him, he knew for this person, he was a very wise person, easy to understand things, and for them, it's important to go directly into that method. And there were some people, let's say like lay people who are busy with their day-to-day activities, and then the Buddha gave a very beautiful method called gradual path, Anupubbi Patipada. This gradual path starts with dana, and then sila, and then dana katang, sila katang, sagga katang, kamanang adinavang, okarang sankilesang. Like that, there are some 8 steps to attain the nibbana. For such people, maybe it is different practice. And also, when Buddha was teaching the Dhamma, if there are like lay people, his style was different. The way he was teaching the Dhamma was different. But if there were only monks, he would directly go into the deep Dhamma. Many occasions, the Buddha would talk about deep Dhamma in front of the monks only gatherings. So we have to see different scenarios in the path to liberate mind.
So with appreciation for all of your wonderful questions, for your good intentions, your confidence in the Triple Gem, and your making the effort to practice, we can bring this monk chat to its end. And all say together, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Back to the seniors teacher.